What's going on, guys? Welcome on to another video. I'm at Honda taking out the NT1100 for 2024, and today's a special one. You probably won't see it much, but I've got a subscriber, Mark. He's out with me today. He's testing the Africa Twin. There's no cameras or anything on him, so you won't see much. This is a hot, muggy day, but that's not going to stop us. The rain is meant to come, so we will try and get out, test this, and get back before all of that happens. This is the DCT version for reference, so every now and then you probably will see my left hand twitch for the clutch, but it ain't there. For the same as last year, they've not increased the engine capacity, so we are still looking at a 1084cc. Same as the Africa Twin. We've got 100 brake horsepower, and I think it was 104 newton meters of torque. I kind of wish Honda would up these numbers just a little bit. I do think both this and the Africa Twin are lacking for that road bike. Now my question for today is the NT1100 a sports tourer, and if not, what category does it fall under? Now I say that because the other week I was on the Kawasaki 1000SX and the BMW M1000XR, and both of them claim to be sports tourers. For me, what makes a sports tourer is you can strip all the bags off and you can go and have a blast on Sunday and you get that sports bike feeling. So when I look at the 1000SX, you strip that back and it's got that more aggressive riding stance, kind of leant forward a little bit onto the handlebars, just like the ZX-10. You look at the M1000XR, that's got a more comfortable, kind of relaxed riding position than the SX, but it's got an absolute weapon of an engine inside, coming from the double R. This bike, do I get the feeling that I could strip off the bags and ride it and get that sporty feeling? I don't know. We'll find out today though, won't we? For me, I really like the fact that Honda have done the DCT, and I know BMW for 24 have released their version of DCT. On previous bikes with DCTs that I've reviewed, people have commented saying how they've got a physical impairment, whether that be through an accident or just age-old times taking it off us, arthritis, problems with their legs, whatever it may be, and DCT has enabled them to keep riding. And I 100% agree. It fills a section of the market which potentially wouldn't be able to ride anymore. The question is, would I want one as my day-to-day runner as a standard? And I find this funny because I was thinking about this earlier. My car, well, my van is auto. We're buying a new car, that's all auto. I would always want to have an auto car. I much prefer driving auto. For me, driving a car is just to get from A to B. Riding a bike is different. A lot of the time, you ride this for the pleasure of riding. A lot of people, don't get me wrong, will commute as well. But I reckon there's more people that ride these for pleasure than commuting. So would I want a DCT as my everydayer? I'm going to try and answer that one later on as well. Well, whilst we're stuck in this little bit of traffic, might as well talk about some of the electronics on this bike. We have got several different rider modes, I think 5 in total. We've got Tour, Urban, Rain, and then I believe 2 different custom users, user 1 and user 2. And as you can tell, using the arrow at the top, I'm just pushing it and it's rotating through. And it does change the theme of the screen as well. And obviously if you go into custom, you can adjust and pick which theme you prefer. Change some of the parameters like the power, the engine braking, and the traction control. We've got the dual screens as well, so we've got a touch screen at the top and then your standard LCD screen at the bottom. And installed from standard is a nice sunscreen. That's all well and good as long as the sun is in front of you. Now I do have to remember, Mark is coming out with me. He doesn't know where we're going and he hasn't got maps on. So try not to lose Mark. Aim of the game. With this being the touring section part of the bike, is we do have cruise control and heated grips. Heated grips nowadays is always something we like to see. Well, I do anyway. Now I'm not sure if it's the tyres, the tyre pressure, or the bike itself. It kind of feels like it doesn't really want to turn. And you'll notice that, look, as soon as I dip it, it springs back upright. And I noticed that when I'm going around the twisties as well. I've had it before where a bike was like that and it was purely because the tyre pressure wasn't set correctly. Anyway, with this being the DCT option, obviously it is automatic. So right hand side, you've got your drive modes. So you've got your neutral, your drive, your sport. Sorry, yeah, you've got your neutral, your drive, your sport, your automatic and your manual. So you can change it between auto and manual whilst you're driving. And then on the top TFT screen on the right hand side, where it's got the gear and it says 4, if you push it and it's in auto, it shows a little D. And then when you push it again, it turns off. So now I am in auto mode. I can then use my left hand, thumb and finger to change gears up and down. And then lastly, the good thing is you've also got sport. So you can leave it in auto mode and then just put it in sport. I assume it just hangs that gear change a little bit longer and just makes it a little bit more peppy. I found this last time when on the bike and you're riding along and you go in 35, maybe 40, sometimes the bike puts it in too high a gear. And now someone actually commented just the other day saying that I should learn how DCT works, blah blah blah, whatever. I don't have time to learn the intricacies of every single bike I test. Last year I took out something like 85 different bikes. All I know is that sometimes I'll be in 35-40 miles an hour and the bike will be in 6th gear, and you kind of like feels like it's chugging a little. Like right now I'm doing 38, 39 and it's in 6th. As a rider, I wouldn't have it in 6th, would I? So that's when then you can come over and then start changing the gears if you want. A good thing to know, you can leave it in auto and still change the gears with the paddles. But then just to note, the gears will then start changing again because it's still in auto if you go faster or slower. We have got a big windshield at the front which has got multiple different set positions, and also you got the little winglets left and right just to kind of give your shoulder areas that a little bit more protection than normal. With it being a touchscreen, we do have phone connectivity, and you do get, which is nice to see, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on this, on the top screen obviously. Again, for a touring bike, something like that as standard is really, really good. If not, you'd have to end up mounting it somewhere. The good thing is there is plenty of space on the handlebar to mount your sat-nav or your phone anyway. Let's look at the price then of this bike, and then we'll talk about some of the different packages you can get. The standard, as in with the clutch, NT1100 for 2024 is going to set you back around £12,600. And then if you want the DCT option, it's going to be another £1,000, so 13,600, 13,700. For that 12.5 grand, ignoring the DCT, I think you get quite a lot for your money. So everything I've mentioned so far, you get as standard, and you also get your panniers. Now, anyone who's bought any panniers for touring knows that panniers can be expensive, and you could easily talk another £8, maybe £1,000 for a set of panniers. So having them in as standard at the 12.5 grand point, pretty good. Another thing to note, in the sport, you've then got 3 levels of sport. See the S, and there's 3 lines next to it. You can just push the D/S down here, and it will take it from S1 to S2 to S3. I've now put it into S3 from drive, and it definitely picks up that little bit better, a little bit more exciting, a little more boom. Just like in the auto cars, if you're going along and it's in a high gear, say 4th or 5th, and you give it some full beans, it will drop a gear or two to give you that instant power. Being 6'1", the wind is right at the top of my helmet, which is exactly what you want to see if you want a bike for touring. I'm in a really natural, comfortable position between my top half and my bottom half. Handlebars are just nicely placed in front of you. Overall, touring on this bike would be a doddle. So we know the price of the bike as standard. Now with Honda, as always, they do a couple of different packs that you can buy to add extra bits. You got 3 main packs. You've got the Touring pack, the Urban pack, and then the Voyage or the Voyager pack. On this bike, I've got the Voyager pack. When we pull over, I'll show you around the bike and show you what's extra. But for reference, I'll put on the screen what comes in the Tourer pack and then the Urban pack. The Voyage pack, in a nutshell, is just both of those combined. So you get everything that you'd want on this bike to ride away, tour, and enjoy yourself comfortably. At 6.1, I know I said the wind is at the top of the helmet, and it is. It does still mean that there is a little bit of wind around the outside. If you were shorter, there's nothing. Down here, there's no wind at all. I don't know how tall you'd have to be like that. But yeah, shorter rider, you'd be alright. Trying to miss all the bloody grass cuttings, because they can be extremely slippery. Mark's alright on the Africa Twin. The brakes are pretty good on this. We've got 298 dual floating at the front, and then I believe a 245 single at the rear. No qualms under the heavy braking. Self-cancelling indicators. Honda have also included emergency braking on this, where I believe if you smash on the brakes, it will flash your hazards until you've either stopped braking or you start accelerating again. Going 20, it's really easy just to keep it at that nice speed. Like I said, you've got no clutch, so you don't really worry about no clutch control. You can just gently poodle along. I still don't know why Honda have done it, but the left-hand cluster, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The left-hand cluster has something like 16 or 17 buttons. Absolutely ridiculous, overkill. Just sort it out, and it makes it look so big and clunky as well. When you've got it in kind of manual mode where you're doing the gears with your hands, the gear changes are really nice and smooth up and down, which is always a pleasure. Sometimes you'll find one way is a little bit more clunkier than the other. Now, can you get on it and have some fun? So in the sports sense, yeah, you can get on it. You do feel the kind of power to weight ratio lacking ever so slightly. Small vibrations coming through the pegs. I've got a little bit of tingly feet now, just after a few minutes of aggressive riding. When I think back to the SX and the M1000XR, those have got really solid engines in them. And if I was to pick between this and those two, I'd go for one of those two. If I wanted something that is more sporty than the Toury. This, on the other hand, I think is definitely more Toury than the Sporty. Now, I don't know whether that's just because it's DCT and you kind of have to choose between auto and manual. But then if I wanted something to do more touring and I wasn't so worried about having a kind of sportier bike, and I'd always kind of keep the panniers or maybe the back box on, then I'd probably go for this. It is easy to ride. Just jump on, put it in auto, and you just go from there. I feel like I have to keep looking down for the indicator because there's just so many buttons naturally where your finger comes over, or your thumb should I say, comes over to start pushing the indicator. There's so many buttons there. Just not used to it. Obviously, if I own this bike, then it would become second nature and it wouldn't be a problem. But right now, I got to keep looking. And now with being auto, we can't leave it in gear, so that's what this big old thing is. This is a hand lever hand brake, and there you go. Park is on. I'm still in drive, so I can push in down there, and there we go. Voila. Now, let's have a little walk around. See, now I feel awkward because you're here.
Just pretend that I'm not even listening.
And here we go then, this is the bike in all its glory. Remember, this has got the Voyage pack. So let's look around the bike, show you some of the extra features that it comes with. Before we do cover the features, I did say the front brakes were 298, they're actually 310, just for my own sanity. Okay, looking at the extra features then, we do have front fog lights. Up on to the tank, there is the clips, there's like a little tank bag that sits here. I've actually got it in the back at the minute, but that comes with it. As I said, panniers as standard, but you do get this large back box. And then one of the last things will be the comfort seats for both the rider and the pillion. Another thing to note as well, this comes with the side stand, but also the centre stand as standard. So if you are doing any touring and obviously you need to do any chain maintenance or tyre maintenance, you can whack it up onto the centre stand. I've actually got a lot of time for the front LEDs. I think they look really, really nice. Let's go over to Mark then, see what he thinks of the Africa Twin for 2024. What do you think, Mark?
It's alright. It's like vanilla, isn't it?
I joke, where are you going to put it in? Well, jumping back on then, remember I'm 6'1", and this bike has a seat height of 820 mil, I want to say. And you feel it, it's nice and low, both feet flat on the floor, easy to ride. We've got a decent tank of 20 litres between our legs. That's going to get us easily probably 400 kilometres. We're manoeuvring around the car park right there. You do feel a bit of this weight. It's coming in at 238 kilos. Now, it's not light, it's not the heaviest, but when you are riding, it doesn't feel too bad. So it's just when you're stationary moving it around. One thing I don't like with the windshield is it's got its adjustable locations. Oh, there's a deer running along down the road. Look at it go. Run, Bambi, run. So yeah, sorry, the windscreen, it can't be adjusted, or if it can, not easily, whilst riding, which for me is a big problem. For a touring bike, the screen needs to be adjustable whilst riding. Come on, dear. Be free. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, windscreen needs to be adjustable. It's definitely not. It's like when you're off the bike, you don't have to go around to the front to adjust it. Overall then, does this meet the sports tourer needs for me? Personally, no. You may have guessed it, like I said earlier, with the 1000SX and even just the S1000XR. Those bikes hit the sports category for me. This is just, it's a tourer. So if you go onto Honda's website and read the description of this, it's like, yeah, it's all three. It's like urban, it's sport, and it's touring. Meh. If you say so. But if I was in the market for a well-priced, comfortable touring bike that comes with panniers, this would definitely be something I'd be checking out. Like I said, for 12.5 grand, you can get on the road and get touring. Some of the other bigger bikes out there, you're hitting 20, 25 grand to do, in essence, exactly the same as this bike. Well, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching my first ride review of the NT1100 for 2024. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. And until the next time, ride safe.